It's aging pretty well. No.
Stay over one right here.
Andrew Raymond up with runners on first and second for San Luis Obispo. Some technical difficulties with our stream, but we're back up. A Samar Odwa home run tied the game in the sixth. And Andrew Raymond takes a pitch outside, 1-1, against Frank Camarillo, who had a brief discussion with manager Bill Pintard on the mound for the Foresters, but he'll stay out there. There is a pitcher getting loose in the bullpen for Santa Barbara. Runners on first and second, a walk and a single. And Raymond fishes after a slider in the dirt that kicks away from the catcher Chamberlain. And the go-ahead run now standing 90 feet away. A nice read from Logan Hart at second. Zach Tallerman stayed at first base, and now Hart at third. Raymond, who's 0 for 2 today, trying to take the lead for his Blues. The pitch. Kicks away from the catcher Chamberlain. Here comes Hart. He gets in standing. Blues take the lead on a wild pitch from Frank Camarillo. Logan Hart scores. 3-2 ball game. Zach Tallerman advances to second base, and a runner in scoring position now for Raymond as he now looks to extend. 2-2 count for Andrew. The pitch, and Raymond takes a fastball just missing below the zone. 3-2 now, a full count with 2 outs, and Nico Button standing on deck for San Luis Obispo. Camarillo comes set with Tallerman at second base. The pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Raymond goes down swinging, but the Blues take the lead. A wild pitch scores Logan Hart from third. 3-2 San Luis Obispo, heading to the bottom half of the sixth inning on the SLO Blues streaming network. New pitcher into the game for San Luis Obispo. It's Spencer Gallimore, the right-hander from UC Colorado Springs. He'll face 6, 7, 8 for the Santa Barbara Foresters. Blues now up 3-2. First pitch, and Chamberlain is early, sending it into the backstop for strike 1. Gallimore, a two-way player, trying to earn some more spots in the batter's box, and he's been doing a great job so far 3 at-bats off the bench, 3 hits. From the windup, the 0-1. And a slider is taken outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Gallimore making his 6th appearance on the summer for the Blues. A 1.10 earned run average. He's been great. 8 2/3 innings pitched and 12 strikeouts. 1-1. Slider swung on and missed. Strike 2. Chamberlain way out in front of that off-speed pitch. And Gallimore up in the count, 1-2. Had a cartoonish senior season at Cabrillo High School in Lompoc, doubling strikeouts to innings pitched. Slider swung on and missed. Chamberlain goes fishing for the first out of the 6th inning. And that's pretty much Gallimore in a nutshell right there. That slider just breaking so hard, mixing it well with the fastball, and he attacks hitters as well as anyone in this league. Now it's Brady Gallimore with 1 out. Blues up 3-2 in the top half of the 6th inning. Or check that bottom as Gallimore will take it for strike 1 against Gallimore. Brady Gallimore, no relation, is 1 for 2 today. A single in the 4th and a strikeout swinging in the 1st. The 0-1. And he flinches on a pitch. That's a called strike on the outer half, 0-2. Gallimore, today's designated hitter. On the 0-2. Fastball missing outside. Aiden Sims' day, 5 innings of work, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Gallimore chases the high fastball. It's popped up down the right field line. Jordan makes the grab in front of the chalk for the 2nd out of the inning. Nice rangy play by the right fielder, Don Jordan, and there's 2 gone in the 6th. Caleb Hoover now, the left-handed hitting first baseman, committed to South Carolina. Last time Hoover was up, he walked in the 4th, and you pair that with a strikeout swinging in the 2nd, and 0-for-1 day for Hoover. Last at bat, I spent ogling at Hoover's numbers this past season at Grayson College. He leans forward on a pitch that misses low for ball 1. It's hard not to when you look at his numbers. I mean, I won't go through all of them again, but I mean, I think if I just tell you an 800 slugging, you can fill out the rest. Pitch missing low and outside. 2 balls and no strikes to Hoover. 40% of his base hits, home runs. Mic drop. The 2-0. And Hoover pops it up into right field. Jordan's there. Camps underneath it and makes the 2-handed grab for the 2nd out of the inning. 3 up, 3 down for Spencer Gallimore. We head into the 7th. Blues up 3-2 on the SLO Blues streaming network. New pitcher for the Santa Barbara Foresters in the top half of the 7th inning. Frank Camarillo's day is done. 6 innings of work. He allowed 1 earned run, 3 earned on 3 hits, 1 walk, and 10 strikeouts in those 6 innings of work. He is done terrorizing the Blues. It's now Jaden Barfield, the left-handed pitcher from Oklahoma. Just played his true freshman season this past season with the Sooners, and in 20 1/3 innings pitched, struck out 18, walked 9 for a 3.54 earned run average. Standing in at 5'9", 216 pounds, he's a native of Pearland, Texas, and is making his second appearance of the summer for the Foresters. He will face 7-8-9 for the Blues. Nico Button is the recipient of strike 1 on the first pitch of Barfield's outing. Nico 0 for 2 today, but grounded into a fielder's choice in the 5th that scored Zach Tellerman from 3rd, who reached on an error. Curveball bounces outside of home plate. 1 ball and 1 strike to Button. Left-handed hitting catcher also struck out swinging in the 2nd inning. The new pitcher, Jaden Barfield, was the number 7th ranked left-handed pitcher in the state of Texas in high school. The 1-1. And Button lines it into left field. Mandino racing towards the line, and it will be foul. A long strike 1. 1-2 to Button. The former Texas All-Region first team by perfect game at Pearland High School comes through from the windup. 1-2. And Button holds up his swing on a curveball in the dirt, and he didn't go around. Evens it up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. A 1-2 count to Nico Button leading off this inning. His team up 3-2 over the Foresters. 2-2. Button grounds it off the hands to the first baseman Hoover, who backhands it, throws it over to first, and Barfield wins the foot race to retire Button for the first out of the inning. Nice play by the first baseman Hoover, who has had a couple of lapses defensively so far today. Nice recovery there. A good athletic play to flip it to the first baseman, Barfield. So here's Diego Murillo now. Reached on a fielder's choice in the 5th and popped out to Klepsch at second base in the 3rd. Murillo in the transfer portal after his first season at Northeastern State in Oklahoma. Fastball misses low, 1-0 to Diego. Spent 2 seasons at Cuesta College, where his 2 older brothers played as well. A couple years older than Diego, but left behind a legacy for him and had been preparing him for college baseball his whole life. Diego fouls it straight back for strike 1. Talked with Diego before the game a couple of days ago. As a defensive mastermind, Murillo is. He's so comfortable at any spot in the infield, at third, at short, at second base. Such smooth hands. And he says his older brothers have been giving him drills ever since he was a little kid. 1-1 is a slider, and it's swung on and missed for strike 2. I mean, we're talking 7 years old, on your knees, picking balls off the ground. A 1-2 count to Murillo. With 1 out, and Diego will foul it behind home plate. We'll do it again at 1-2. And I've said before, he's been a sneaky bat this summer for San Luis Obispo, entering today's game with a .385 average, 10 hits in his 26 at-bats before today. 2 doubles, 1-2, and Murillo pops it up off the end of the bat into shallow left field. The shortstop, Farr, gets called off by the center fielder, Kill, for the 2nd out of the 7th inning. 2 gone for the 9-hole hitter, Gavin Constantine. Constantine 0 for 2 today. A ground ball out and a strikeout looking to end the 5th inning. Blues up by 1. And the top of the 7th. Scored their first run in the 5th on a fielder's choice from Nico Button. Sam Ardois tied it in the 6th with a solo home run. And Logan Hart came around to score on a wild pitch. First pitch swinging, and Constantine grounds it foul down the third base line, strike 1. Constantine on the 0-1. Checks his swing, and he went around for strike 2. Tied up on an elevated fastball, and he's down to the count 0-2. Here's the 0-2. And Constantine goes down swinging. 3 up, 3 down for the Blues. Time to stretch it here at Eddie Matthews Field. San Luis Obispo up 3-2 over the Foresters. Next inning brought to you by Ancient Owl Beer Garden. Spencer Gallimore working in his second inning of the day, relieving Aiden Sims, who went 5 innings of work. The Blues are up 3-2 over the Santa Barbara Foresters at Eddie Matthews Field. Just got done stretching here in sunny Santa Barbara, California. Just a perfect day for some baseball, and rivalry baseball at that, between the Blues and the Foresters. First pitch missing high and outside to Addison Klepsch for ball 1. This rivalry had a lot more fuel a couple years ago when these two teams were both in the CCL South, but schedule makers still found a way to have these two meet frequently, as this one sent back into the screen for strike 1. This is the first meeting between these two teams this summer. Santa Barbara, the hottest team in the league with 7 wins in a row, a 10-1 record, and the Blues, a disastrous win in Game 1 against the Barons, scratched across 1 yesterday against the OC Riptide. The 1-1. And popping the leather, and Klepsch takes for ball 2. Gallimore from the windup facing the 9-hitter Addison Klepsch, who's 0 for 2 today. Fastball missing high and tight, and 3 balls and 1 strike to the second baseman Klepsch. Auburn Tiger from San Diego digging in the driver's seat in a 3-1 count. Here's the pitch. Fastball, check swing. They say he went around for strike 2. So now a full count now for Klepsch. Here's the payoff. Fastball, he challenged him, and it's grounded to second base, then over the diving Murillo into center field, a base hit. Murillo had it all squared up, but a last-second bad hop bounced over his glove, and a leadoff single for Klepsch, his first base hit of the day. So the tying run now at first base for the leadoff man, Max Mandino. Maddox 1 for 3 today, a single in the 5th. Paired that with a fly ball to center and an unassisted putout at first base. Left-handed hitter playing left today. A C move over to first base just to check the runner as Mandino awaits the first offering from Gallimore. Shows bunt, gets it down, right back to the pitcher, Gallimore. He goes to second. They get the force there. Nice play by Gallimore. Knew exactly what to do with that baseball. Throw it right to the lead runner. A bunt that was hit way too hard off the bat of Mandino. An easy roller right to Gallimore, right in front of the rubber. Play over to second. They get the force out. So Mandino reaches on a fielder's choice, and Klepsch is retired at second. It's now Terrence Kill, the only hitter today in the Foresters lineup to have a multi-hit afternoon, a 2-for-4 day with a couple of singles. Also popped out to the second baseman Murillo as Gallimore picks over to first base. Gallimore from the stretch with a runner on first base. It's Mandino dealing against Terrence Kill. Another pick to first, and Mandino's back in time. Gallimore in his varsity season at Cabrillo High School in Lompoc started in 11 games, 99 strikeouts, and 78 2/3 innings pitched. Redshirted this past season at UC Colorado Springs with the Cougars. Fastball missing high. 1 ball and no strikes. You be the judge. What's more impressive, the 99 strikeouts and 78 2/3 or 8 earned runs and 78 2/3 innings pitched? That's a .71 ERA. Gallimore picks off at first. It's a bang-bang play, and they got him. Spencer Gallimore picks off the go-ahead runner at first base, and 2 gone in the inning. Bill Pintar doesn't like it one bit. Mandino was caught sleeping. 2 gone in the 7th now. An inning that started out with Gallimore's C move, just kind of lazily throwing it over to first to check the runner. An A-plus move to get Mandino out. 2 gone for Terrence Kill. And a fastball to Kill misses high, 2-0. And here's a called strike. Kill nods in agreement, and a 2-1 count in the driver's seat against Gallimore. Spencer from the windup delivers a fastball painted on the lower half for strike 2. Bottom of the 7th, 2-2 count. And Kill cues it off the end of the bat and grounds it foul down the right field line. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Blues lead 3-2 over the Santa Barbara Foresters in the bottom of the 7th inning. Gallimore, the pitch. Fastball missing high and outside. Fills up the count at 3-2 against Terrence Kill. Easton Mumau stands on deck. Here's the payoff. Fastball hammered into center field, but Royal is right there to make the play. Flat-footed grab, and the side is retired. Forced out at second, a pickoff at first, and a fly ball from Kill retires the side as we head into the 8th. Blues up by 1 over the Foresters on the SLO Blues Streaming Network in an inning brought to you by Educational Employees Credit Union. Top of the order due up for San Luis Obispo in the top of the 8th inning. SLO up 3-2 over the Foresters. Spencer Gallimore got out of a very nice inning, picking off a runner, forcing a runner out at second base and getting a fly ball out from Terrence Kill. Royal the first pitch, and he'll take a fastball for a strike against Jaden Barfield. Barfield, the last time he was up, faced the minimum against the Blues. Ground ball out, a pop out to center, and a strikeout swinging. The 0-1. And Royal lines it into the Foresters on-deck circle for strike 2. EJ today, 1 for 3. A leadoff single to begin this ball game in the center field. Stole second, it was stranded there. A ground ball out and a strikeout swinging. Here's Barfield from the windup. 0-2. Royal chops it to the shortstop Farr, who gets it on a big hop, throws it over to first, and Royal is retired. 1 out for the Blues in the 8th inning, and it's Sam Ardois. Ardois tied the game the last time he was up with a solo home run in the 6th inning. It was a bomb to left field. He leads the team in home runs with 2 after not having a single one this past season at ULL or with the SLO Blues. The first pitch, and Ardois takes an off-speed low and inside, ball 1. Aside from that home run, he reached on error in the 4th and struck out swinging in the 1st. Here's the 1-0. Ardois takes a fastball, outer half for strike 1. 1-1 count to Sam. A native of Louisiana, spent his first season of college baseball at Texas and transferred to his home state in the portal again. He's a four-seamer high, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike to Ardois. Playing in his 2nd season in San Luis Obispo this year. He awaits the offering from Barfield. 2-1. Ardois foul tips it into the backstop for strike 2. Sam, before today's game, 8 strikeouts and 3 walks. Make that 9 after today. A 2-2 count to Ardois. Another foul ball from Sam as he fights it off and it rolls foul. Again, 2-2 to Sammy. With an open stance on the 2-2 count with 1 out. Ardois gets the fastball blown by him for strike 3.
Strikeout was brought to you by Lee & Sons.
2 outs in the 8th. Ardois goes down swinging, and now it's Don Jordan. 12 strikeouts on the day for San Luis Obispo here in the 8th inning, and it's Jordan who struck out himself in the 1st. Grounded into a double play and reached on error in the 6th. He was eventually picked off for the 3rd time this summer. Jordan, his first pitch hacking and fouls it off the screen above the Foresters dugout for strike 1. Don, the team leader in hits with 28. That's 5 more than EJ Royal, who is 2nd on the team in hits with 23. With a widened stance, slightly open on the 0-1. Here comes the pitch from Barfield. It bounces in front of home plate, and Chamberlain can't keep it in front. 1-1 to Don Jordan. Blues trying to hold on to this lead against the Santa Barbara Foresters. 3-2 right now in the top of the 8th. Took the lead as Logan Hart scored on a wild pitch after walking in the 6th. The 1-1. Jordan with a violent swing and a miss for strike 2. Logan Hart stands on deck. He scored the go-ahead run for the Blues in the 6th inning. Jordan trying to clutch up with 2 outs and 2 strikes. The 1-2. And Don takes a fastball barely missing off the plate. Might have gotten a call there. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jordan. Bando locks back into the back of the right-handed batter's box. The 2-2, and Jordan chases the high fastball for strike 3. 13th strikeout of the day for the Blues offense. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning. SLO hanging on by a thread, 3-2 against the Foresters on the SLO Blues streaming network. Easton Muma leads it off for the Santa Barbara Foresters as they trail by 1 to the San Luis Obispo Blues. Bottom of the 8th inning from Eddie Matthews Field at Santa Barbara High School. It's Muma, Brenton Clark, and Sawyer Farr to face Spencer Gallimore. Fastball popping the weather but missing outside to Muma for ball 1. Easton is hitless today. He struck out swinging in the first, popped out in the third, and put down a sacrifice bunt in the 5th. 1-0. Muma hits it off the end of the bat and foul in front of the Foresters' bullpen for strike 1. Muma got those runners over on the sac bunt. One was at first, one was at second. Mandino ended up at third and Kill at second, and they were left stranded after that sac bunt, an unassisted put out by Tolman at first, and a ground ball right back to the pitcher as Muma fouls this one off too. 1 ball and 2 strikes against Spencer Gallimore. Gallimore in his 6th appearance with the Blues this summer. Before today's game, 8 2/3 innings and 12 strikeouts. No walks yet so far this year. The 1-2. Fastball and try to get Muma to chase high, but he leaves it alone. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The lefty against the right-handed hitting Gallimore. Lines this one into the right field through the 4-hole and a base hit. Leadoff single for Muma. And it puts the tying run at first base for the Foresters.
Now batting, sponsored by Citywide.
Here's Brenton Clark.
Number 6, Brenton.
Also hitless today, 0 for 2 with a walk in the first inning. He scored one of the 2 runs on the RBI single hit by Cole Chamberlain in the first inning. Those represent the only 2 Foresters runs today. Santa Barbara hasn't scored in 7 innings. They're trying to change that here with the tying run at first now in Muma. Clark takes high for ball 1 against Spencer Gallimore. Brenton redshirted his first season at Arkansas, and the Omahogs couldn't overcome the LSU Tigers in the semifinals of the College World Series. The LSU Tigers, by the way, your College World Series champions. Here's a liner into center, and it falls in front of Royal, a base hit. Throw goes into second base. Murillo bobbles it, but keeps it in front. Back-to-back singles for the Foresters, and the tying run now in scoring position for Santa Barbara.
Now batting, sponsored by
Muma at second, and Brenton Clark at first. Here's Sawyer Farr. Farr 0 for 2 with a walk. Sawyer, this season for the Foresters, has driven in 13 runs on 15 hits. "13 walks on the year, a .509 on-base percentage, and a .366 batting average. The lanky left-hander standing tall in the batter's box with the infield playing in, a runner in scoring position and no outs. From the stretch, he shows bunt, pulls it back. Button comes out of his squat to get there. 1-0 to Sawyer Farr. Switch hitter, batting left-handed again. Was batting left-handed against Aiden Sims, the righty. Gallimore also a righty, so he will stay in that left-handed batter's box. 1-0, shows bunt and fouls it underneath the wickets of Button behind home plate for strike 1. Blues up 3-2 over the Foresters. The go-ahead run at first, tying run at second. And Farr, with his 13 RBIs, awaits. Bottom of the 8th inning. Foresters running out of time, trying to at least tie the game against the Blues. The 1-1 shows bunt again and fouls it down the third base line. A 2-strike count now to Sawyer Farr. Blues trying to end a 7-game win streak for Santa Barbara. SLO coming off a win of their own from last night against the OC Riptide, a 3-2 W down in Irvine. Gallimore from the stretch, the infield playing in, runners on first and second. Farr on the 1-2, shows bunt, pokes at it, and he went around for strike 3. 2 singles in a row, and Sawyer Farr strikes out for the first time today. Second strikeout for Spencer Gallimore, as we'll have a pinch runner for Muma over at second base. Looks like that'll be Easton Ruley, the shortstop at 5'10", 185 pounds. Now runs for Muma at second. Easton Ruley replacing Easton Muma, no relation, as Cole Chamberlain comes up to the dish. Left-handed hitting catcher from UT Austin, as time is called at home plate. Ruley at second, and Clark at first. Gallimore comes set with one out. Fastball missing inside at Chamberlain, 1-0. And Chamberlain came through earlier in the game against the Blues too. He hit that 2 RBI single, representing the only 2 runs of the day for Santa Barbara. Trying to replicate that production here with 2 runners on for the Sturs. 1-0. Half swing on a curveball, and it bounces foul. 1-1 to Chamberlain, a 1-for-3 day with that aforementioned single in the first inning, and unassisted put out by the first baseman Tarman in the fourth, with runners at second and third, and a strikeout swinging in the sixth. One and one count to Cole Chamberlain. Chamberlain with 4 RBIs this summer. The 1-1. Takes a pitch outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Entered today's game with his .313 average. No home runs so far. Now 6 hits on the year. Six walks to his 4 strikeouts. In the driver's seat against Gallimore, 2-1 with 1 out. Gallimore delivers, and it's popped up. It'll be out of play for strike 2. Forster is well ahead in first place in the CCL South, but they do not qualify for the CCL postseason as they head to the World Series in Wichita, Kansas. So technically the Arroyo Seco Saints are in first. 2-2, runner goes, throw goes down to third, throw beat him by a mile, got him stealing. A dart from Nico Button throws out Easton Ruley at third for the second out of the inning. Caught stealing from Ruley, 2 gone. Brenton Clark advanced into second base on that double steal. So the tying run at second now. 3-2 against Cole Chamberlain. 2 outs, full count. Gallimore comes set with a runner on second. Chamberlain swings and misses, strike 3. Gallimore gets out of the jam as he pulls the string against Cole Chamberlain. Blues still up 3-2, a huge moment for Spencer Gallimore as we head into the 9th inning on the SLO Blues streaming network. Top of the ninth inning, and Logan Hart due up. Middle of the order for San Luis Obispo. Hart, Tollerman, and Raymond in the top of the ninth. Hart shows bunt and pulls it back, takes it for strike one on a curveball from Jaden Barfield. Spencer Gallimore getting out of a huge jam, caught stealing, and capped it off with a strikeout swinging against Cole Chamberlain. Pulled the string on the catcher from Texas for the third out. 0-1, and Hart will take the heavy fastball in the inner half for strike two. Logan today 0 for 2 with a couple of Ks. He walked in the sixth inning, stole third, and came around to score on a wild pitch. That put the Blues ahead 3-2. Hart pops up the off speed. The third baseman Klepsch at the fence. Can't make the play. It goes out of play 0-2. Hart from Cal State Fullerton, playing this summer with San Luis Obispo. He only played in 8 games his sophomore season with the Titans and made one start, but attended Modesto Junior College for 2 years prior to Fullerton. As a freshman, hit .345 with 5 triples and 3 homers. Half swing, and he fouls off the fastball. It rolls into the Blues on-deck circle. We'll do it again at 0-2. That freshman year, he drove in 43, scored 42 runs, and stole 21 bags. 0-2, he gets hit on the shoulder. Hit by pitch from Logan Hart, and we got some wheels over at first base for the Blues. First hit by pitch of the day for either side. And that's coming off a game a couple days ago with the Academy Barons. The Blues had 5 hit by pitches against the Academy. Bill Pintard, the manager for the Foresters, idling in front of their dugout. There's a meeting at the mound between the battery and Chamberlain and Barfield. Pintard still hanging out there. There's some movement happening in the dugout. Everyone's staring at one guy trying to grab a helmet.
Number 22.
There's no movement, and a couple of arms are getting loose in that bullpen for the Foresters as Zach Tollerman digs in with a runner on first base. 3-2 game, Blues lead on the top of the ninth. And Logan Hart with an aggressive lead at first. Tollerman filling out the entirety of the right-handed batter's box. First pitch, and ZT swings and misses for strike one, a fastball blown by him. Tollerman is 1 for 3 today, a single in the sixth, a strikeout swinging in the second. He reached on air in the fifth and actually came around to score on a fielder's choice from Nico Button. That was the first run of the day for the Blues. They tacked on 2 in the inning right after that from a Sam Ardois home run and a wild pitch that scored Logan Hart, who's on first. 0-1. Tollerman flinches on a fastball and misses high and outside. A ball and a strike now to ZT. Tollerman making his 6th start of the summer for the Blues. 1 double, 1 triple, 1 home run on the year. The 1-1. Tollerman waves and misses at a fastball for strike 2. That home run came in Tollerman's Blues debut up in Sonoma against the Stompers. A 370-foot missile to left center. 1-2, it's taken for strike 3. First out of the inning, and Tollerman's caught looking. Second K of the day for Zach Tollerman, and it brings up Andrew Raymond, who's got a couple of strikeouts of his own this afternoon. 1 in the second and 1 in the sixth. And in between that, a ground ball out to the third baseman, Mumau, who has since been replaced by Klepsch. So Klepsch is at third, and Easton Ruley is at second base. First pitch to Andrew Raymond pops the leather, and it's a called strike, 0-1. Raymond, Bronco from Santa Clara. The 0-1. Andrew fouls it straight back for strike 2. A native of Spokane, Washington, entering his sophomore season with the Broncos. Here with a runner on first and 1 out. The pitch. And Raymond tardy on a fastball here, and he'll send it out of play down the left field line. Again at 0-2 to Raymond. It was first team All-League his senior year of high school at Mount Spokane High School, and a 3A State Player of the Year both his junior and his senior year at Mount Spokane. The 0-2. And Raymond fouls it right into the Foresters' dugout. Again, fighting with 2 strikes here is Andrew Raymond in an 0-2 counts. It's some athleticism at the dish for the Blues here. And Raymond, who can move around in the outfield, makes plenty of sense because he was also a 3-year varsity basketball player. 6'5", 215 pounds. With 1 out, the 0-2. Raymond goes down swinging on a slider. Nasty pitch from Jaden Barfield, and there's 2 gone in the 9th inning.
Now batting, number 41.
3rd strikeout of the day for Andrew Raymond, and it brings up Nico Button. 0 for 3 day. Reached on a fielder's choice, but it scored Zach Tollerman. Grounded out to the first baseman Hoover and struck out swinging in the 2nd. He was the 3rd out in an immaculate inning from the starting pitcher from the Foresters, Frank Camarillo. First pitch, and Button will take a fastball low, 1-0 to Nico. In the transfer portal after 4 seasons at Cal Berkeley, redshirted his first year there, played the last 3. Bulk of his work came in his redshirt freshman and sophomore years. Redshirt junior, significant decrease of playing time. And now Button gets hit on the shoulder blades. 2 hit-by pitches in 1 inning for the Foresters and puts a runner in scoring position for the Blues. Logan Hart at 2nd, Nico Button at 1st. Both were plunked by fastballs from Jaden Barfield, and it's Diego Murillo. Here's Bill Pintar, the manager for the Santa Barbara Foresters, heading out there to talk to his left-hander, Jaden. No movement is made to the bullpen. Looks like it's just a meeting on the hill between the entire infield and the manager, Bill. Now he points to the pen, and there's a new right-hander coming out for the Foresters. Jane Barfield's day is done. We'll introduce you to the new noodle right after this on the Slow Blues Streaming Network. Ooh. New pitcher in for the Santa Barbara Foresters. It's the right-hander from Texas Christian University, Zach James, making his 2nd appearance for the Stars this summer. So far, James has pitched in 3 innings, allowed 1 hit, faced 9 batters, and struck out 5. He just finished up his first season with the Horned Frogs, and he comes in with 2 outs and runners on 1st and 2nd. He'll face Diego Murillo, the second baseman, who's 0 for 3 today. A couple of pop-outs, and he reached on fielder's choice in the 5th. Here's the first pitch. Runner takes off to third, and feet first sliding is Logan Hart. He's in there safely. Hart with a stolen bag, and Nico Button stays at first base. And it's James on the hill. 6'3", 183-pound native of Flower Mound, Texas. Here on the Central Coast, playing some summer baseball. Started in 4 games for the Horned Frogs this past season at TCU. A midweek non-conference starter. Also had 10 appearances. In total, 20 innings, 14 strikeouts, and 5 walks for TCU. Here's Murillo with a runner at third and first, and he takes low and inside. 2-0 to Diego Murillo. In high school, James was a first-team All-District performer as a senior and named Texas 6A All-State performer when he was a junior. He won the state championship in the 6A level in 2023. Here's the 2-0. Murillo winds it into left field. The right fielder, Mardino, can't get there. It gets past his glove. Josh Hart will score. Here comes the windmill from Regalado. Here comes the throw to the plate. It won't be in time. 2 RBI double, Diego Murillo. He continues to be clutch and extends the lead for the Blues. 5-2, San Luis Obispo. Murillo empties the bases.
Now batting number 9, Gavin Constantine.
And it's Gavin Constantine with 2 outs. Second extra base hit of the day for the Blues. Half of their hits have been extra bases. And it's Gavin Constantine now. First pitch, and it's a called strike. And checked in. It's a single and an error on Diego Murillo's hit. It was a laser beam to Mandino and left, and a big hop. Kind of clanked off his glove and rolled into left, and that bought time for Murillo to cruise into second. Constantine takes strike 1. Third baseman batting ninth is 0 for 3 today with a couple of Ks and a ground ball out. Puts it in the ground onto the right side. The third baseman, Klepsch, throws it offline, and Gavin Constantine reaches. An error by the third baseman, Klepsch. And Murillo stayed at second base, Constantine at first. And it's the leadoff man, E.J. Royal. 1 for 4 today, a single in the first. A couple of ground balls to the shortstop far, and a strikeout swinging in the 6th. 5-2 ball game now. The Blues lead. 2 RBI single from Diego Murillo. Extended the Blues lead over the Sturs. First pitch, and Royal winds it into center field, and it falls in front of Kill, who actually makes the grab. So 2 runners stranded on base. Blues looking to pull a bow on this victory against the Sturs. 5-2 San Luis Obispo. Right after this on an inning brought to you by SLO County Golf. Bottom of the order due up for the Santa Barbara Foresters. They now trail 5-2 against the San Luis Obispo Blues. A 2 RBI single from Diego Murillo extended SLO's lead in the top of the ninth inning, and it's Spencer Gallimore out to close it for the Blues. First pitch, and it's a slider missing inside, 1-0. Spencer Gallimore, who replaced Aiden Sims back in the sixth inning, trying to close it for the Blues, and he will face Brady Dallimore, no relation. Fastball fouled straight back into the net for strike one. 1-1 count to Dallimore, who roped a single in the fourth inning. Part of a 1-for-3 day where he also struck out and popped out to right field. TCU commits. Swings and misses for strike two. A new pitcher came in for the Foresters, and Zach James. He was a Horned Frog too. Although James played his freshman season last year, Dallimore is heading to Fort Worth this year. 0-1-2. Changeup bouncing in the dirt, and Dallimore spits on it all the way. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Blues trying to win the SoCal Road Series right here at Eddie Matthews Field. A big loss 2 days ago against the Barons and a win yesterday against the Riptide. Crushed in the air to right field, and Jordan, with a few steps back, comes in and makes the grab for the first out of the ninth. Foresters down to their last couple of outs, trailing by 3 against the Blues.
Number 14.
In danger of snapping a 7-game win streak. Here's Caleb Hoover now, hitless today, 0-for-2, with a walk in the fourth inning. A South Carolina commit. Just finished a season at Grayson College. Put up video game numbers there. From the windup, here's the pitch. First offering is sent straight back into the fence for strike one. A little early on that fastball that time from Spencer Gallimore as he paces the rubber. Defense playing straight up on the left-handed hitting first baseman Hoover. In an 0-1 count, Gallimore delivers. And a fastball misses low and inside, evens up the count at 1-1. Hoover from Rockwall Heath, Texas. A first baseman and right-handed pitcher. Playing first today. 1-1. Way early on a changeup here for strike two. Hoover smashed 16 home runs this past season in his 40 hits. Struck out 32 times, in danger here on the 1-2. Bouncing ball in front of home plate, and Button keeps it in front. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And this summer, not exactly the numbers he produced this past year at Grayson. No homers yet. 2-2. Off the end of the bat, and it's fouled down the right field line. We'll do it again at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hoover hitless today is 8 for 39 this summer. 8 walks and 10 strikeouts for Hoover. The 2-2 clanks off the mid of Button behind home plate, and it'll fill up the count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Hoover up and Addison Klepsch in the hole for the Foresters. Eight-hit day for Santa Barbara. Only 2 runs to show for it. Here's the payoff from Gallimore. Off the end of the bat, and it rolls to Tallman at first, and he'll take it himself for the unassisted putout. 2 gone in the top of the ninth inning for the Blues.
Sponsored by Citywide Home Mortgage. Number 3.
Foresters down to their last out. Addison Klepsch, who started the game at second and moved to third after Easton Ruley substituted for Easton Mumon this game. So it's Klepsch, who's 1 for 3. A single in the 7th, who was forced out, flew out to center and struck out swinging. Klepsch lines it into center field. Royal can't get there. It falls in front of him. A base hit. A 2-out single for the Foresters. The second hit of the day for Addison Klepsch, and it moves it to the top of the lineup. And Max Medino Maddox is 1 for 4 today. A single in the 5th. Reached on fielder's choice. Grounded to Tarman at first, and flew out to Royal in center field. Left-handed hitter trying to clutch up with a runner on first. They got some work to do, though. The tying run standing on deck for Santa Barbara. As Gallimore delivers from the stretch. The first pitch is fly to the air down the left field line and foul. A long strike one for the leadoff man, Mandino. The Minden, Louisiana native. Another two-way player just like Caleb Hoover. Runner takes off to second base. The catcher's indifference. As Mandino sits in an 0-2 count against Spencer Gallimore. Foresters down to their last strike. Runner in scoring position for SB. Gallimore delivers. Fastball high, and Mandino doesn't chase it. 1-2. Five to 2 lead for the Blues. A runner on second base. Foresters trailing by 3 in the bottom of the 9th. The 1-2. Hits the back of Mandino and puts him on first base. Blues hit 5 batters 2 nights ago, and they hit their first batter today in the bottom of the 9th. Here comes the tying run at the dish, and Terrence Kill. Kill, one of the 2 multi-hit batters this afternoon for the Foresters. A single in the 1st and 5th. Pair that with a couple fly ball outs today. A 2 for 4 afternoon for the center fielder, Kill. Kill has driven in 3 runs this summer on his 12 hits before today's game. He has scored 8 himself. A .333 batting average before first pitch. And he stands in with a runner on first and 1 on second. First offering, and he leaves it high and outside, ball 1. Maddox Mandino was just hit by a pitch. He's at first. Addison Klepsch singled the center field. He's on second. The 2-hole hitter and Kill. 1-0. Roped into right, but right at Don Jordan. And the Blues win against the Santa Barbara Foresters. Great W for San Luis Obispo to the tune of 5-2 against SB, and that's a very impressive win, nipping off a 7-win streak for Santa Barbara. The Blues now have 2 in a row, and they win the road series in Southern California 2-1. They will now head back home to play a plethora of Southern California teams, including the Riptide and the Caneo Oaks and the Santa Barbara Foresters. A 3-game homestand for San Luis Obispo, finishing off this 3-game road trip down here in Central Coast of California in Santa Barbara. Thank you for tuning in to the Slow Blues Streaming Network. The Blues win 5-2 against SB. Signing off here from Eddie Matthews Field.